review it, I review you. This is my partner, Mr. It. It'll never leave. Yes, arguably the most popular show of the Disney afternoon is getting rebooted, and we are beyond hyped. So in celebration of the series premiere, we're well, the first episode was shown, but the series proper doesn't start airing until this video's release. Well, this video's released on Patreon anyway. So in celebration, we're going to be taking a look at the film theory on how much money Scrooge really has.
Today we're answering one of cartoon's longest standing questions. Just how much money does Scrooge McDuck have in his money bin? But first, there's something I've wanted to do since I was like age 7. Taking a page out of your book, buddy. Let's do this!
While all the news about Disney films, theme parks, and video games were all well and good, you can't deny, that was the best thing at D23 2017.
Man, if you were a child of the 90s, hearing that theme song gives you the nostalgia tingles.
I think they have medication for that.
DuckTales was then and still is great. I mean, it created the childhood fantasy of swimming through a literal pool of gold coins, which, now that I've done it, it's still awesome, but hoo-wee, is it a workout. Old Fat Pat here didn't know what hit him.
Dude, you may need to exercise more, but you, sir, are not fat.
You know you're rich when a tax for the wealthy is named after you. That's right, the Dutch word of the year in 2014 was Dagobert Duck Tax, actual legislation named after Dagobert Duck, the Dutch name for Scrooge McDuck.
You know, MatPat has a tendency to pull out facts that I swear are made up, but then when I look into them, I find out just how weird our world is.
He started from the bottom, and now is here. So he is, quite literally, Drake. Or, more accurately, a Drake, since Drake is the name for a male duck.
You know, that makes me realize that Darkwing Duck's civilian name, Drake Mallard, is literally like naming a character Man-Person.
607,386,947,522,000,522 $35. 35? Oops, 36.
Excuse me, Fenton. I just said he had 5 multiplijillion. Are you telling me that he lost $323 fentillion overnight? Come on! I think someone here forgot to carry a 1.
I don't even know how that math applies.
Forbes magazine in that richest fictional character list estimated Scrooge's earnings in 2007 to be $28.8 billion, then bumped it up to $44.1 billion in 2011 due to the rise in gold prices. But they never actually say where they got those sorts of numbers.
Honestly, I feel like we should be impressed that a legit business magazine took any time on this.
So, with a reboot of the series coming to Disney XD on August 12th, one that all Disney XD sponsorship of this episode aside legitimately looks great.
Yeah, this video came out before the first episode was released, so MatPat wouldn't know for sure, but yeah, it's great.
And the question still at large after all of these years, it is time to put my theorist hat into the ring and answer the age-old question, just how much money does Scrooge McDuck have in that famous money bin of his?
Good luck. We're all counting on you.
Now, obviously, with the Disney XD series coming out, I wanted to start there. Unfortunately, because it's not out yet, footage right now is limited to the trailer, the opening theme song, and a couple of spare teasers.
And yet, I still find the amount of footage you got very impressive.
Not only do we get a good general sense of the size and shape of the bin from the outside, looking very similar to the design from the original TV series.
Yeah, like, it's a rectangle. Me.
I run a multi-trillion-dollar business.
This is, according to my research, the first time the series has put a real-world number to Scrooge's wealth.
Hey now, I think Fenton gave us a very legit number.
Putting it in the trillions. But when it comes to money, that's a huge number.
Well, it's a pretty damn big number regardless, but yeah, money does make it seem a lot bigger.
So today we won't just be testing out how much money he has, but also how well this new reboot knows dear old Scroogey.
Kinda hard to gauge the latter before the first season is out.
Usually when I'm writing these theories, I need to scrape around for whatever information I can find. This theory actually has the opposite problem. For the first time in the history of these shows, there's too much information.
But I still imagine it wasn't easy to find.
We see him counting his money again, confirming he has 9 billion trillion and 2 $1,000 bills stored in his vault.
And that's just the $1,000 bills. He says that next he's moving on to the 500s.
We even get, in yet another comic, that he has 3 cubic acres of money. Obviously a joke, since an acre is a measure of area and not volume. If you did indeed have a cubic acre, you would have created a 4-dimensional space.
Don't tell Doc, he might get ideas. What was that? Nothing!
There are even blueprints of the money bin.
Really? Dude, I think that'll work.
Episode 15 of Season 1 of the original DuckTales TV show, The Money Vanishes.
Oh, great episode. Though I do think Scrooge was a little dumb in it.
No weird exterior shots, no guessing about the accuracy of offhanded remarks, just one scene that shows us the complete inside of the vault and gives us the means to measure it. A theorist's dream.
Okay, you can stop drooling now.
In the 1963 comic For Old Dime's Sake, we see villainous Magica Dispel put Scrooge to sleep, and then measure him so she can assume his identity and sneak into the vault.
I know I should be focused on finding Scrooge's height, but I'm just blown away at the fact that Magica is actually that old of a character. I thought that she and most of the villains in the show were created specifically for the series.
In the very opening seconds of the very first episode of DuckTales, we see the actual depth gauge to the vault, and it shows 70 deep. Seeing this, I was heartbroken, but then I realized, 70 what? 70 feet? It can't be, because we see Scrooge in the background. If we were to measure his size relative to that depth gauge, he'd be 20 feet tall. What is he, Wario?
Game theory reference. Check out the show if you're confused.
So, it would appear consistent scaling in this world is gonna have more issues than Teen Vogue.
Oddly enough, consistency isn't always a thing in cartoons.
That's a magazine with a lot of issues, just so you know. It was meant to be funny, but no, the cringy puns are just too real, you guys.
You know, we were going to let it slide, but you had to draw attention to it.
We have a lot of conflicting informations, and I want to go big for today's theory.
Corporate sponsorship or not, you always go big for these series.
Method number 1, depth gauge. Using the depth gauge ruler, we can Photoshop that guy out of its pile, scale it appropriately, then use a few different angles to figure out the rest of the dimensions of the bin. Knowing that 20 marks on the gauge equals about 3 real feet, we get a money pile that's 10 feet deep, 20 feet wide, and 21 feet long. That's 4,200 cubic feet of coinage. So at 3 cubic acres, Scrooge's money bin would have contained 27,272,960 cubic feet in size. This number will be really fun when we do the final totals.
Jesus.
And as myself witnessed when hopping into the DuckTales vault for myself, there's a lot of air between those coins.
That one looked like it hurt.
From Princeton, a paper with, I gotta admit, my favorite title of all time, Some Observations on the Random Packing of Hard Ellipsoid.
Honestly, if any title was gonna get you to read that.
In this paper, we learn, or more accurately, I learn and tell you to spare you the pain of having to read this thing.
We appreciate your service.
That leaves our gold volume totals at, just flash it up on screen, no one needs to hear me list off all this stuff until we get to the final numbers.
Yeah, you're gonna have to save your breath for that.
He's cracked. He's gone nuts.
And at this point, we should totally be done, right? Multiply by the price of gold, wrap this episode up, earn Disney's love and respect for my super nerddom forever. Booyah, I'm walking the red carpet at the next Marvel movie premiere because Disney XD is so grateful at how I was able to solve their Scrooge McDuck problem.
Yeah, because Disney XD totally has sway over that guest list.
These are avoirdupois pounds, the very long and very French name Americans use every day when we talk about how heavy something is. They're the pounds that plague old Fat Pat every time he steps on a scale.
You, sir, are a twig!
But silver, gold, platinum, and other precious metals that have lent their names to Pokemon installments are valued based on the Troy weight system.
Why?
Hear that sound?
Sounds like frustration.
It is me repeatedly banging my head against the desk.
Now I just have an image of my head of Magpie doing this.
Useless, empty brain.
Cue the drum roll. Guys, are you kidding me? Let's step it up. We're trying to impress Disney XD here. Fine, that'll do.
I'm sorry, how does a drum roll get better than that?
The money bin would be filled with $52,348,493,767.50. That is the lowest possible estimate of Scrooge's wealth, and would still put him as the 5th richest person on planet Earth.
And that's the minimum!
Method 2, the ladder method, where we saw Scrooge's wealth teleported away? Well, that was a good payday for the Beagle Boys, as they would have wound up with the greatest heist in history, walking away with over $239 billion, allowing Scrooge McDuck to surge past the richest person in the world, Bill Gates, and his measly $86 billion.
Oh, but he's not done yet, folks.
But from here on out, the numbers get crazy.
You mean it hasn't already?
At $12,434,552,490.10, if you include his number one dime.
Does that mean that the previous values didn't include the number one dime?
And here's the craziest thing. The new reboot nailed it. I was a bit skeptical when the trailer said,
I run a multi-trillion-dollar business.
Really? You were skeptical of that? If any character was gonna be that rich, it's Scrooge McDuck. I honestly find this one of the more interesting and entertaining episodes of either game or film theory. The lengths Magpie had to go through to figure out Scrooge's net worth are incredible, and the toll it took on his psyche was just fun to watch. Definitely a good one to check out. I'm a reviewer. You review it, I review you.
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve the mystery.
All right, let's do this. 1, 2. Wow, I should really learn to stop doubting you. I didn't do anything yet. But you're right, you should. Doc, electroshock therapy is not the answer to everything. Well, clearly you haven't tried enough of it. Me, 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 me.
That would be me. Are you okay, reviewer?
Yeah. How did you...
It wasn't easy, but I was able to cast a time spell that reverted your body to the state it was before you made the deal with Death's favor.
Okay. Follow up. Not to sound ungrateful or anything, but who are you and why did you help me?
Well, it's my job to help you out of situations like that.
Huh?
You didn't read the note on the back of the book, did you?
Huh?
Okay, let me take it from the top. My name is Miss Tess, the Dark Magician Girl. Long ago, in a world very different from yours, I was an apprentice to a great sorcerer by the name of Vicar. His magical energy was so vast that even after his passing, his magic would live on and find another host. However, he believed that his power was too great for one being to possess, so he divided his magic into 3 objects called the Draco Triad. One of these objects would be passed on to the being he considered to be his true heir. The second was a spellbook called the Draconica that would be given to the Guardian, the one who would protect the heir. The third was a pendant known as the Blade of Tringe, and it would be given to the Watcher. That's me, the one who would ensure that the Guardian can do their job.
So if I got the spell book, then that means...
That's right, you're the Guardian.
Yeah, about the book.
Oh, believe me, I know. I've been spending the last year or so trying to get Draco out of the book and into a proper prison. Alright, now that that's been taken care of, time to check on how the reviewers did... What the hell? So, yeah, I really can't hold anything against you.
Well, even before Murphy showed up, you haven't been much help.
Excuse me? Who do you think got the reviewer out of the Shadow Realm?
I did!
Oh, please, that wasn't gonna work. It took my magic to get him out.
Why you? Enough! Question. If I'm supposed to protect the heir to Vicar's power, then who are they?
Actually, I don't know.
Huh?
Master Vicar was a very secretive man. He believed that the best way to keep the heir safe was to keep their identity a secret until the time came for them to defeat Disfavor.
So that's what Murphy's after. He's trying to get rid of me so that he can get to the heir.
Exactly. Well, I better get going. But don't worry, from now on, I'm keeping a close eye on you guys.
Wait, why don't you stick around? If Murphy shows up again, we're gonna need some magical assistance.
Are you kidding? I'm not gonna be the only girl in a house full of guys. Besides, it seems crowded enough as it is. Mr. It sleeps under the bed, for crying out loud. Me. And if it's magic you're worried about, there's also a charm in there that you can use to contact me with questions. Or if I get distracted again. Try not to lose it in another dimension this time.